Have you ever wondered how your computer stores and retrieves all those gigabytes of files and folders? Well, it's all thanks to hard disk drives, aka HDDs. These nifty devices have been around since the early days of computing, and they're still going strong. Today we're going to lift the hood and explore the inner workings of HDDs, demystifying how these mechanical marvels function. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or just curious about the inner workings of your trusty computer, join us as we uncover the secrets of hard disk drives. Alright, let's start with a quick recap of what an HDD actually is. In essence, an HDD is a storage device that uses magnetic storage to save data. Unlike solid-state drives (SSDs), which rely on flash memory, HDDs employ spinning platters to store and retrieve information. But how exactly does this process work? Well, let's dive into the key components of an HDD, starting with the platters. As mentioned earlier, these are the actual surfaces where data is stored. Typically made from aluminum or glass, platters are coated with a thin layer of a magnetic material like iron oxide or cobalt. This coating is crucial for storing data because it allows tiny regions called bits to be magnetized in different directions. And no, there's nothing magical about these magnetic materials. They are just compounds that respond to magnetic fields, enabling them to flip back and forth between two states, often represented as 0 and 1. Now don't get confused by the terminology here. Those bits aren't talking about bits of gossip or pieces of advice. They are the smallest unit of data that can be stored on a platter. Think of each bit like a tiny compass needle that can point either north or south, representing either a 0 or a 1. By controlling the direction of magnetization in these tiny regions, the hard drive can store binary data, the language of computers. One platter can hold a substantial amount of data. But to maximize storage capacity, hard drives typically use multiple platters stacked on top of each other, with a read-write head for each side. Now let's turn our attention to the read-write heads. These are the components responsible for reading and writing data onto the platters. Here's a fun fact. Read-write heads were initially referred to as styluses, likely due to their resemblance to the writing instrument. However, that name didn't stick. Instead, they became known as read-write heads, a more descriptive term that highlights their dual role in handling both reading and writing operations. Read-write heads are small electromagnetic devices suspended just nanometers above the disk surface on a thin film of air. This hovering effect is achieved through an air cushion created by the spindle motor, ensuring that the heads never physically touch the platters. If the heads were to come into contact with the platters, friction would occur, potentially damaging the data stored on the disk. That's why keeping them airborne is essential for maintaining data integrity and preventing mechanical damage. But how do these read-write heads read and write data on the spinning platters? It's actually quite ingenious. When it comes to writing data, the controller sends an electrical signal to the write head, which in turn generates a magnetic field. This magnetic field influences the bits on the platter, causing them to magnetize in a specific direction, indicating either a 0 or a 1. Essentially, the head flips the bits on the platter, much like a coin toss. To read data, the process is slightly different. As the platter spins, the read head detects changes in the magnetic field caused by the shifting bits. These changes are then converted into electrical signals and sent to the computer, allowing it to read the stored data. Moving on to another crucial component, the actuator arm. The actuator arm is responsible for moving the read-write heads across the platters, assuring they're positioned correctly over the desired tracks. This arm is equipped with small motors that allow precise and rapid movement. With this flexibility, the actuator arm can quickly access different parts of the platter, facilitating efficient data retrieval and storage. Next up is the spindle motor. This motor plays a vital role in rotating the platters at a constant speed. Without the spindle motor, the platters would remain stationary, making it impossible for the read-write heads to access the stored data. The speed of rotation is impressive, with modern hard drives spinning at anywhere from 5,400 to 15,000 revolutions per minute. At these speeds, the platters rotate dozens of times every second, allowing for rapid data access. Finally, let's discuss the controller board, also known as the PCB. The controller board serves as the brain of the hard drive, managing the flow of data between the drive and the computer. It contains firmware, cache, and the interface for connecting to the computer. Firmware is essentially software embedded in the hard drive itself, which controls various aspects of its operation, such as the movement of the actuator arm and the spindle motor. Cache, on the other hand, is a small amount of fast storage used to buffer data temporarily. The interface, typically SATA or SAS, enables communication between the hard drive and the computer, allowing them to exchange data seamlessly. So now you know the main components of an HDD, and how they work together to store and retrieve your precious files. But how exactly is data organized on these spinning platters? Well, let's take a closer look at the organization of data on an HDD. Data is stored on an HDD in a specific order to ensure efficient access. Here's a breakdown of the key elements involved. First, we have tracks. Imagine concentric circles on the platter. These circles represent tracks where data is written. Each track is divided into smaller segments called sectors. Sectors are typically 512 bytes, or 4 kilobytes, in size and serve as the basic unit for reading and writing data. Think of each sector as a small box on the platter containing a specific amount of information. Next, consider cylinders. A cylinder represents a stack of tracks across multiple platters. This means that if you were to stack the platters one on top of the other and cut straight down, you would end up with a stack of tracks. This arrangement allows the read-write head to access data across multiple platters efficiently. Now let's talk about latency. Latency refers to the time it takes to access the data you request. On an HDD, there are two primary factors that contribute to latency: seek time and rotational latency. Seek time is the time it takes for the actuator arm to move the read-write head to the correct track. Rotational latency, on the other hand, is the time it takes for the desired sector to rotate under the read-write head. Both of these factors combined determine the overall latency of an HDD. Understanding these concepts gives you a deeper insight into how data is stored and retrieved on a hard disk drive. So when you request a file from your computer, it goes through the process of seeking out the correct track and waiting for the right sector to rotate into position before reading the data. This intricate process happens millions of times every day, ensuring that your files remain readily accessible. As we've seen, hard disk drives play a pivotal role in our digital lives. These mechanical marvels store and retrieve our files reliably, allowing us to create, edit, and share our work. We hope we've shed some light on how hard disk drives work and provided you with a deeper appreciation for the technology that keeps our data accessible. Now that you're well versed in the inner workings of hard disk drives, you might be wondering how this technology compares to other storage options like solid-state drives. Don't worry, we've got you covered. In our next video, we'll dive into the world of SSDs, exploring how they stack up against HDDs and showcasing the advantages they bring to the table. So stay tuned and join us as we continue our journey into the exciting world of data storage. That's a wrap on our deep dive into how hard disk drives work. We hope you found this video informative and perhaps even a bit fascinating. These mechanical marvels have been the backbone of data storage for decades, and understanding how they work gives us a deeper appreciation for the technology that keeps our files accessible. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to show your support. Your likes and shares fuel our passion for creating more tech unraveling content for you. Plus, we've got plenty more videos in the works that we think you'll love. So stay tuned and join us on our tech journey. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep discovering the amazing world of technology around us.